Hi everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. So in the last part, Ko had a bit of a bit of self-reflection, and of course because we can't have anything go, easy for us or go our way. Because we can't have things go our way. Rem, the kind of weird blue kind of ghost girl who gave Ko his powers, has basically frozen time for everybody, and so we have to go through all this shit to defeat it. So we have to go through all this shit to kind of prove our worth, to prove how strong we truly are. And this dungeon is kind of a little bit different than... Shit, move! It's a little bit different in terms of its setup than previous dungeons. It's kind of set up as like a bunch of smaller areas with teleportation gates to the next section. Hit him in the face. Dodge. Look at that dodge. Ah, oh, so cool. Shit! Ha! Fuck you, damn deer. Alright. In terms of this dungeon, it's kind of bland, to be honest. There's nothing really, too special about it. It's got very much got a kind of cave aesthetic. Sorry, with the motif of kind of like the red gates, and so yeah, these kind of red gates here to enable you to transport to the next section. Music is pretty kick-ass, and you can go back if you want, but pretty much they want you to just find all the stuff in the area, go through the next gate so you can get to the next area. Oh shit. Oh, fire. That didn't work. Fuck you. I'm dead. So yeah, it wants you to kind of loot through the area, find all the shit, find all the chests and all that kind of stuff. And then once you found all the chests and defeated all the enemies, then it's time to... Oh shit. Then... Ow, my face. Once you've done that, then it's time to find the next gate and head to the next section. It's, it's a fairly straightforward dungeon. The only difficulty you might have is, the dungeon, the small areas, kind of build up, and so they can be tough to, get through quickly because there's so many different sections to go through, and there's so many enemies that you have to kind of go up against. Dead. Fuck you. Kill him. Oh fuck. Physical hits probably do better on those guys, to be honest. But yeah, like I say, this dungeon, this dungeon is actually not all that hard, considering it's, we're midway through the game at this point. Well, are we midway? Probably just over a third of the way through the game at this point. Alright, let's go through. Just over a third of the way through the game at this point. And so at this point, we should have much harder... Ow. Fuck you. We should have much harder kind of dungeons at this point. And this dungeon is fairly straightforward. So yeah. Yeah, and sometimes as well, I think this is the only occasion that it happens. from what I remember, but there is sometimes a gateway which just leads you to optional shit, which can be worth going out of your way to get, but just overall it just drags out your time again, which is kind of why it's kind of difficult to get an S rank on this dungeon, particularly the first time you go through. Maybe on New Game Plus it is a bit easier because obviously you're at a higher level. You've got end game equipment, so yeah, it makes it easier in that regard. But it just means that, you know, trying to do that on your first playthrough is trying to S rank everything on your first playthrough is kind of tricky, which is why it's probably not worth it. To try and S rank everything, I'd wait until second playthrough to try and S rank the entire every single dungeon that you go through. Because like I say here, you know, you're kind of wanting, you know, can we just continue on? Can we move on, please? Can the dungeon just end? But no, it just keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. We got 8,000 yen, nice. I think that's equivalent to $800 if I remember correctly. But I can't. Not that I pay much attention to that. Anyway, let's head through. And that opens up. So, yep. And that's where we started, so it's kind of a roundabout way to get there. So we went through all that to just go into one room, one room further on. And that's the first half of the dungeon done. Yeah, this one's long. The thing about it is, though, it's not particularly hard. Like, the enemies aren't... Even your first playthrough, the enemies aren't particularly hard hitting. They... You know, as long as you've got the right element for the majority of the characters, then you should be just fine. Die, please. Thank you. So yeah, this... damn it. Damn it. Charge. There you go. Yeah, so it's really not that hard of a game, to be honest. Not hard of a dungeon. Considering, you know... considering the placement of it, it's really not that hard. Alright, more shit. Die. Thank you. Moving on. Die. Die. There you go. Let's charge ourselves up again. My apologies. Switch on. Okay. I remember this section. This section is actually pretty interesting. So basically you start off on the left-hand side of it, and you go through the left-hand side and activate a switch which knocks down the gates that allow you to enter the center area, and then you go through and then you go across the center area to the right area, and then you do the same thing on that side. You basically go through the right area, and please die. There you go. So yeah, so you've opened up the right area, this area here. I think, can you break this? Damn it, I bruised the wrong person there, to be honest. So yeah, now you go back to the starting area, and you go to the left-hand side. You complete this section here, which unlocks the gates in the center and allows you to enter the next and allows you to complete this section of the dungeon. It's kind of nice because it's at this point pretty unique for dungeons, because usually in this game they're quite simple and straightforward with not many with not many kind of branching pathways, and I just like in this game that is there something here? Chest. Thank you. Resurrection 2. Nice. So yeah, I kind of like that. With this dungeon, they do something a little bit kind of different. It's something that I also like about the chapter directly after this as well. Is that the majority of the dungeons up to this point have all had this, or the chapters have had the same kind of I've had very similar kind of structures, and what I kind of like about this dungeon and about the next chapter after this my apologies, is that they kind of change the system just a little bit, like just enough to kind of keep it kind of interesting, and to not to make every kind of chapter feel the damn same. So yeah, now that we've done both sides, we can just defeat these enemies. Yeah, I was just done at this point. Dead. Damn it. Where were you hiding, you piece of shit? Alright, let's grab all this shit. Thank you. Fortitude. Fortitude. I think that increases your defense. I'm pretty sure. But here we go, we're almost done. We're almost out. Damn it. Run away. Dead. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Fuck you. And dead. And there's the next section. And there's the final section, Tom. I always do that. I need to remember that basically in those kind of mini-boss areas, all the items that they drop kind of automatically attract to you, so you don't have to look around for them. S rank, baby! Which is my first time getting an S rank on this stage, so there you go. Nice and easy. Alright. Time for the boss. Let's get this shit done, ladies and gentlemen. Finish it off once and for all. Okay. Boss time. I do like this introduction, like the flames kind of popping up and then they're all kind of merging together and creating the boss. That's kind of a cool introduction, which I really like. Oh shit. My god, it's a giant six-tailed fox. Sorry, five-tailed. This is the Sacred Guardian, the five-tailed fox. Oh my god, dude. I remember this boss is a great big massive pain in the ass the first playthrough. Because he has a lot of fucking health. And also his attack patterns are a pain in the fucking dick. So let's take on this son of a bitch. So you start off, and he has a specific weakness. He has Asuka's weakness here. So use Asuka's weakness and use your special attack while she's weak. That's something else. There are these things around the edge. Okay. Then he puts up this purple barrier and changes his weakness. So basically at this point, with this barrier up, magic attacks won't hurt him. So you have to get up close and personal. You have to attack him physically. And he's very quick. Very nimble. Has a lot of shockwave attacks. And this is something else which is a real pain in the fucking ass. Yes, he has these things around the side. I think there's 8 of them in total, and they don't respawn from what I remember. So it might be best to just go around and destroying all of these quickly so he can't heal himself. But yeah, he's a real pain in the ass. And yeah, the move, it's so annoying and frustrating because of the fact that, you know, whenever you run close to these things, if you're locked onto him and then you run past one of these things, you automatically lock onto this motherfucker. You lock onto those motherfuckers, and it's so frustrating because you know what you want to do. You want to sorry, you know you want to hit him in a certain direction. You know, you want to keep locked on him and keep attacking him, but you're being kind of forced to go after these things around the outside, which is such a fucking pain to deal with. It's just so annoying. Oh, yeah, now Ko, you want to hit him. So you see there, you use your ranged attacks. So what you want to do here is you want to use your special attacks and you want to use your physical up-close attacks. But he's so quick, and his attacks here, the stomp attacks, they stay on for so fucking long. And I'm doing quite a decent job of killing this thing relatively quickly. But still, man, at the first playthrough, you don't have 2 R1 attacks. You won't have your affinity with your characters maxed out, so you can cause the maximum amount of damage possible. You know, so it's a real pain in the ass to kind of have to deal with. He heals himself up a decent amount with the things around the outside. On top of that, he has a lot of attacks which can really hurt. He's big. He's super fast-paced and agile, and he's just such a pain to deal with. He's probably the most annoying boss in the game up until the final boss. Up until, you know, the final couple of bosses at the very least. He's such a fucking annoying villain. Such an annoying boss to deal with. And of course, she literally was testing us. She turned into that giant five-tailed fox and kind of kicked our ass for a bit there. Yeah, she needed to see how strong we were and whether we can have the capacity to make the choice. You know, whether we're strong enough to be able to, you know, make the choice and fight with our own convictions. And of course she has the same kind of, will that be a good thing or will that be a bad thing kind of, you know, BS that you often get in these kind of shows and, you know, these kinds of stories. And I like this from Ko here. Kind of relates to everything that he went with in the last chapter, the last part rather, with him trying to work out his own personal motivations for why he does what he does. Yeah, and he's come up with his answer. He's going to keep helping out and doing everything that he can, and you know, do the best he can at the time to, and you know, not and not live with any kind of regrets that he may have. Which I kind of like that. The idea of, you know, don't know whether you're going to be right or wrong until you make the decision and jump in head first, and you know, have the strength of conviction to kind of deal with the results after that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the dungeon dealt with, and everything's returned back to normal. Time has resumed its natural flow, which is nice. And everybody's okay again. That bitch Ram has disappeared. Seeing everything through to the end, yes. A little bit of foreshadowing that things maybe aren't going to go exactly the way we think they are going to go. And that's, you know, we have to kind of, as the main character, see this through to the very, very end. So yeah, he's made his choice. You know, he thinks this is the right thing to do, so he's going to keep doing what he's doing because that's who he is. Which, I don't know, I kind of like that to a certain extent. But in the end, it doesn't. Does this really mean anything? At the end, I guess it doesn't really change his character all that much, because he essentially is coming up to the same point which he had before, which is, you know, I'm doing it because this is the right thing to do, not because of some grey ideal. I'm just doing this because this is what I do, and this is the right. Believe this is the right decision. But I do kind of like how Ko kind of gets his point across, and kind of makes it clear that he's 100% in, and that kind of brings Sora, Shio, and Yuki to kind of say, yeah, fuck it, we're in too. We're going to be doing. There's no way we're backing out of this now. Which again is more of this thing about Ko kind of being that unwilling leader character, you know. That, you know, he doesn't see anything special in himself, but everybody keeps following behind him. The next day... Yeah, come on, dude. We've got one more seat in the party bus. Man after my own heart. Goes for a, you know, decides he wants to go for a walk, and then just happens to be a brewery along the way. So let's just get a skinful while we're on our way across. What a man. What a man. But yeah. But it's another kind of excuse, I suppose, to just kind of get him out of the way, so that we can have the moment that's coming up between Ko and the rest of his teammates. He's got a massive constitution apparently. Doesn't get hungover easily. God, I wish. Yeah, Ryota's kind of unhappy, you know. Didn't get to see any of the guy. Didn't get to see any of Spiker before he left. Before they left, rather. So Ryota is a sad Ryota. By the way, it's kind of dodgy, isn't it? The reason why he wanted to see them again is so he could try and score free tickets. Or a piece of shit. What, this thing we were going to talk about when we were back at school, and now we're just going to talk about it here because, well, shit happens. Sora thinking about the important things in life. So yeah, it's going to be an official school club that we have to be, we're going to have to run. And of course, Toa is the faculty advisor, because, you know, of course she is. Uh-oh. President time. Yeah, because Mitsuki is the student council president, she can't actually be an official representative of a club. Because, you know, obviously, it could be seen as a conflict of interests, basically. You know, student council president might give preferential treatment to a club that she's the leader of. So, therefore, it can't be Mitsuki. So yeah, Asuka makes sense, doesn't she? She's most experienced with Eclipse and is the main person. Can you tell who she's going to pick? By the way, I find this kind of funny at the end, because she was the one who kind of put the doubts into his head as to whether he could actually keep going with this and whether it's the right thing for him to do it, and then she's the one to go, by the way, I want you to be I want you to be the president of this club and I want you to be in charge. You know what I mean? So it feels kind of like I think it's a couple of things. I think the main reason why she does it is because she doesn't want to fucking do it. She just doesn't want the extra kind of work on top of a regular Eclipse duties as well. Yeah, so once again, Ko's been pushed into the leadership position once again. Which is, yeah, exactly the point that I made earlier on, where he's the unwilling leader. Just kind of thrust into this position, so he's going to do it wherever happens at this point. Although I do think that Asuka's point of it has to be someone who's born and raised in Morimiya. Yeah, that's right, Morimiya. Sorry, that's the end of the chapter. Then it has to be somebody from Morimiya. I think that does make sense. But I think she's just passing it off on him at the end of the day. But anyway, that's it for this part. We're done with intermission number 1. Join me next time for the next part when we're going through intermission number 2, when we're going to be playing as the White Shroud. So join me next time for the next part of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. See you next time.